Hello and welcome to Torah Thoughts. This week's Torah portion, the parsha of the week, is Vayetzei, which means, and he went out. So here's the Torah telling us a story about Yaakov. Remember, there were three patriarchs that founded the Jewish nation. First there was Avraham, and then his son Yitzchak, and now the third patriarch, Yaakov. And the Torah opens up with a story about him by telling us, Vayetzei Yaakov mi Beersheva. Yaakov left Beersheva, the town where his father Yitzchak lived, and he went to Haran to find a wife. Now, of course, that wasn't the only reason why Yaakov left. Yaakov also had to escape his twin brother Esav. Remember, when Yitzchak passed on the blessings and the legacy to Yaakov, Esav was extremely resentful and he swore to kill Yaakov. So here, Yaakov has to escape. And as Yaakov leaves, the Torah tells us that the sun goes down and Yaakov pitches camp. He sets up a rock, he sleeps on it, and he has a dream. And in this dream, it says that there's a ladder that goes from the ground all the way up to heaven, and Yaakov envisions in his dream he sees angels going up and down this ladder, and it says, and v'hinei Hashem nitzav alav, and behold, God is standing over Yaakov. V'yomar, and he says to him, Ani Hashem Elokai Avraham Avicha, I am God, the God of your forefather Avraham, ve'Elokai Yitzchak, and the God of Yitzchak, Yaakov's father. Ha'aretz asher ata shochev aleha lecha etnena ulezarecha. This land that you're laying on, I give this to you and to your offspring. And you will, your offspring will be as numerous as the dust on the earth, and you will spread to the east, to the west, to the east, north and south. And all of the families on the earth will bless themselves through you and your offspring. So this is in essence the same blessing that God gave to Avraham and to Yitzchak, and God is now confirming that yes, the legacy gets passed on through Yaakov, and now through these three, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, this special nation is going to be born. And he gives them these blessings. But then there's something a bit seemingly unrelated, a bit off. Hashem says to him, "V'hinei anochi imach," and behold, I will be with you. Ushmarticha, and I will guard over you, I will watch you, b'chol asher telech, wherever you go. I will watch you in all your goings, v'hashivoticha el ha'adama hazot, and I will bring you back to this land, meaning to the future land of Israel. Ki lo ezavcha ad asher im asiti et asher dibarti lach, because I will not leave you, I will not abandon you, until I will have done what I promised you. So that's a bit of an awkward thing to put into a blessing. When somebody receives bad news, God forbid somebody has to get surgery, and their spouse or their parent, tells them, "I'll be with you. I'll be here the entire time." When someone goes to prison, a loved one would say to them, "Don't worry, I'll be here with you." What is that? God just gave Yaakov a blessing. Hey, it's all going to be great. You're going to be my special person. Everything, all of this land, it's yours. But don't worry, I'll be with you. Which seems a bit off. When you give somebody good news, this seems to go more with bad news, It's like a consolation. Yeah, I know things are bad, but don't worry, I'll be with you. Why is God telling him this when he's giving him blessings, when he's giving him good news? And the answer kind of lies in the context of what these blessings mean. And we'll see as the story goes on, that receiving these blessings isn't just a blessing. There's a context, but there's a responsibility with these blessings. It's not just that God says to the nation of Israel, "You're my favorite people. Congratulations, you get all the goodies." No, it means you were chosen to accomplish a mission. You have a responsibility and you have a burden. I want to go back a little bit to the thing with the ladder. Why is Jacob dreaming of a ladder? What is the meaning of this ladder with angels going up and down to heaven? And I've read some explanations. One explanation is that the ladder is a connection between the spiritual in heaven and between the physical here on earth. Another explanation was that the angels going up and down represent Jacob's prayers reaching heaven. There are plenty of beautiful explanations, but none of them fit within the context of the story, within the context of the blessing that God is giving him. And so I'm going to go a little bit further. We're going to come back to the question about the ladder and this seeming consolation to the blessing that God is giving Yaakov. What we see what's going on here is Yaakov's life just got way, way, way more difficult. This is going to be the most difficult few decades in Yaakov's life. And even by receiving these blessings, he's now entering a life of trauma and tribulation. That's not how it's supposed to be when you get a blessing, right? Well, yes and no. Getting these blessings doesn't mean, okay, guess what? From now on, everything's going to be honky-dory. Everything's going to be all flowers. And no. God chose Yaakov and Yaakov's nation, the nation of Yaakov's AKA, you'll see later on, is Israel. The nation of Israel is actually Yaakov. God chose this nation not so that we can run around and say, hey, we're the chosen nation. God loves me more than you. That's not what the point of being the chosen nation. The chosen nation means you're chosen to fulfill a mission. And in fulfilling this mission, you're going to have responsibility, and you're going to have a burden, and it's going to be difficult. Sure, it's an honor. It's a privilege to actually fulfill the mission of, which ultimately is the purpose of why the world was created, bringing the knowledge of God down to earth, bringing the relationship between man and God to earth. That's a tremendous privilege and an honor, but it's difficult. And of course, in the end, there are rewards, but it's difficult and it's burdensome. And this is, metaphorically, that's exactly what Yaakov was going through. So here we have Yaakov. The very first thing that happens after he gets these blessings, his twin brother wants to kill him. And again, you see the parallel with the Jewish nation. The very fact that we brought knowledge of God, we brought monotheism to the world. We received the Torah. We introduced the Torah. It came from God into the world. And many people, though they're not Jewish or may not believe what we believe in, the Bible is the most read book in the world. The fact that people read it out of context, that'll be fixed later on in history. But what do we get for that? Resentment. The most evil man in modern times, Hitler himself, described his reason for hating the Jew because they brought a sense of morality into this earth, meaning the need to obey God. The fact is that because we received this mission, we received the Torah, this chosenness, so to speak, there's a tremendous amount of resentment, and people for millennia, have wanted to kill us as a result. So Yaakov escapes Esav, and as he runs, Esav sends people to find Yaakov, and Esav's son Eliphaz actually does catch him. And Yaakov convinces him, don't kill me, but take my money. And Eliphaz takes all of his money. Yaakov stays penniless, which again, we've seen in Jewish history that has happened a lot with us, where people who wanted to kill us, they opted for profit rather than killing us, and very often that's how we survived. They robbed us rather than killing us. So here is Yaakov. He's going penniless. He arrives in Haran. He meets his wife, his future wife Rachel, and Rachel takes him to meet her father, Lavan. Now, Lavan was a shrewd, conniving, dishonest businessman. And he sees Yaakov wants to marry his daughter. He says, well, what's in it for me? And he says, all right, I'll give you my daughter. And Yaakov has to work pretty much like a slave for 7 years for the privilege of marrying Rachel. And after that happens, he doesn't end up marrying Rachel. Lavan tricks him. He ends up marrying her older sister Leah. Yaakov comes back and he complains about that. Okay, fine. You know what? You can marry Rachel also, but you owe me another 7 years. Story goes on. In total, Yaakov ends up working for 20 years in Lavan's house. He has his children are born while they're living in Haran. He escapes Lavan. He comes back to the land of Canaan, and again, he's got to face, after 20 years, he's got to face his brother Esav, who still holds a grudge. He finally manages to get past that, and again, we're going into next week's parsha, but on and on and on. Esav wants to kill him. Lavan chased after him when he escaped and wanted to kill him. He finally gets back. He thought he had some people. His daughter gets raped. His daughter gets raped. How many people go through these things? Your brother wants to kill you. Your father-in-law wants to kill you. You're tricked into marrying the wrong woman. My God, his daughter got raped. After all of this was done, his sons are fighting amongst each other. Again, this is Jewish history. How many Jewish women have been raped simply because, well, they did it to us because they can? How many times have Jews been told, you can live on this land, but you're going to have to pay me heavy taxes? And then when they didn't pay, we got kicked out. And Lavan chases after Yaakov for trying to leave. Get out! No, don't get out. Go back to Palestine. No, don't go back to Palestine. Again, the parallel between what Yaakov is going through with what his descendants, the nation of Israel, are going to go through it's amazing. And ultimately, what happens? His children are fighting amongst themselves. Tragically, that's what happens with us, between the tribes of the Jews. My God, you know the old expression, 2 Jews, 3 opinions, that's an understatement. And then they sell him into slavery. They sell Joseph into slavery. And then the Jewish people themselves, now it's already a nation, they become slave. On and on and on. What's the lesson behind all of this? You want something good in life? Well, if everything comes easy, then everybody would go for it. This special mission that God gave Yaakov comes with a price. And the price is you have to fulfill a mission, you have to work hard, and you're going to have to bear a tremendous burden. Now, that explains why God said to him, hey, you're going to be my special nation. But don't worry, I'll be with you. Because getting there, and we're still going through it. What other nation in the world is there that when you defend yourself against bloodthirsty killers, when you defend yourself against them, you get attacked by it. You get attacked for it. When a terrorist kidnaps a Jewish teenager, rapes him, mutilates him, this terrorist gets caught, and the Israeli authorities get blamed for searching for the guy. The Israeli authorities get blamed for mistreating the poor terrorist. And on and on and on. It's not over. The history of the Jewish people isn't over yet. But while all of this unfolds, while this mission that we're on is yet to be completed, there's a tremendous burden that we have to carry. And this is why God says to Yaakov, don't worry, I'll be with you. Now, the ladder. Now, in this context, the ladder makes more sense. There's a concept in Jewish law which is called Yerida Letzorech Aliyah, which means if someone went in a downward direction for the purpose of going up, think of it as a trampoline. When you're jumping down onto a trampoline in order to jump back up, the entire motion is technically considered an upward motion. And it has certain applications and repercussions which are not important for the moment, but just given the fact that Yerida Letzorech Aliyah means you're going downward for the purpose of going upward, that entire thing is called an upward direction. Let's put it in the more practical, contemporary sense. Say you're traveling on the I-95. You're going to go from Florida up north to New York. Now, the I-95 doesn't shoot straight north. It zigzags, like every road does. It goes a little up, it goes a little down, a little right, a little left. Now, suppose you're driving from Florida to New York, okay? You're headed north, and you look to your right, and you see the sun setting. Now, if anybody knows, it's a general navigation. If you see the sun setting on your right, obviously, the west is to your right. That means you're facing south. So, imagine this. You're driving on the I-95. The sign says I-95 north. But the sun is setting on your right, which means you're facing south. How's that possible? Because the road doesn't always face straight. It sometimes goes a little bit down, and then it turns a bit up, and then it goes a bit here and there, and then ultimately, the general direction is north. So when you're on this road, and it curves a little bit to south, the sign doesn't change and say I-95 south. You're still traveling north. Yes, at the moment you're pointing in that direction, but the road you're traveling on is north. Similar concept, all right? When you're going downward, but the point of going down is so that you're traveling back up, that's considered going up. Give you one more example. Get into an elevator, okay? This has happened to so many of us. You get into the elevator, you expect it to go up. You get in, and lo and behold, the elevator is going down. Yeah, at the moment you're going down. But where are you headed? I'm headed to the 15th floor. I'm going up. The angels are going up and down the ladder because there are times when we're going down and there are times when we're going up. And here's the exact same message that God is giving Yaakov while he's dreaming the angels going up and down the ladder. He's telling him, don't worry. It's all an upward direction. You gotta bear the downside in order to get the upside, but it's all one package. And this is also it's a metaphor for Yaakov's life. It's a metaphor for the history of the nation of Israel, but it's also a metaphor for life. You want something good, you got to work for it. You want the reward, you have to bear the burden. And the message that we get here is, it looks difficult sometimes. It looks daunting. It looks insurmountable. But don't worry. Work hard and you'll get there. That's the blessing that God gave our people. That's the blessing that God gave humanity. That's the way He created nature. Keep working. Whatever it is you're looking for, you'll get it. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for watching this. Please remember to like, share, and comment on the video. God bless you.